So there's been a lot of talk lately about the AAA gaming industry and how some of it's feeling just downright anti-consumer or even like a scam. But we have actually seen a scam unfold in real time through the day before, which was released last Thursday. It's about a week ahead of this video being recorded, and then was shut down on Monday, 2 days ago. So we need to talk about this game, everything that kind of led up to this game coming out and then being canceled, and how it just reflects poorly on the entire industry as a whole. Hey everybody, here I'm Bobby from Direct Gaming, and we're going to be talking today about the day before, how this giant scam of a game came out, and what's kind of going on with it now. So let's start. The day before was kind of really anticipated. It was actually one of the most wish listed games on Steam for a moment, with like thousands and thousands of people anticipating this game, hoping it would come out and be everything it promised, because it did promise quite a bit. In the early trailers from like 2021, we were able to find like an old IGN FanFest video from 2021, and it was looking impressive. It was looking like The Division, which is a very high quality game, right? If you guys haven't played The Division, but you like that kind of third person tactical shooter stuff, The Division's great, right? So it was looking like that, so that got me interested. But then it had like the zombie apocalypse thing, and it was supposed to be a survival MMO, right? And I was super excited. I was like, that could be really cool if you actually like meet up with people, and then, you know, maybe you don't like them, but then there's zombies, so you have to work together, right? Like the zombie shows, like we've all seen that on The Walking Dead and other stuff like that, right? It could have been really cool if it was like that, and that's kind of what they were showing and promising. And looking through this old stuff, we can find some old interviews about this game and how it was going to come about and how it was going to be this great revolutionary experience. The company Fantastic, now I believe rebranded to 8 Points, we're going to talk about that a little later, talked about this in 2021. In the day before, we have the concept of a base different from other MMO survival games. As a hint, we really like the concept that in that cute game where there's a greedy raccoon boss, right? The guitar, I don't know how to say it, the Guitarstevs, who are the directors of the game, right? So they're saying, hey, we want you to be able to build up a place like Animal Crossing, which is kind of interesting, right? For an MMO to put that kind of like customization into your home, right? And they talked about that even in the recent trailers. Hey, you're going to be able to build up your base or your farm or whatever it is outside of the city area and be able to do that. So they went on to make all these big promises, right? Even in the same interview, right? And we'll have links to all this down below. The game has multiple choices after a takedown of an opponent, using different types of finishing moves depending on the weapon, healing, and tying up another player. Especially creative players will be able to come up with various other methods. They can down and then tie up another player, then attract the attention of the horde of zombies who will happily dine on the other player, and so on, right? So they're really making it sound like it's going to be a huge sandbox MMO, a zombie survival game. And again, that would have been very, very cool to have. But this game did end up having some delays over time. I think originally it was released or scheduled for release in late 2021. And then they said, oh, hey, we're going to do it to 2022. And then it came out earlier this year. They were delaying it again, and they ended up saying something like they had a dispute over the name. Like they hadn't trademarked the name the day before yet, even though the game had been delayed and was supposed to be out like a year prior. But in January 2023, IGN had another article. The day before, devs say delay was planned before the trademark dispute. So they say even before the trademark dispute, they were saying was the reason we have to delay the game, we were planning to delay the game. Okay. That's very interesting, because it's looking more and more like there's some weirdness going on. And even in this article, the Guitarstevs decried any allegations of scamming after several the day before community members grew concerned that the game was delayed for so long, just a few weeks ahead of its planned launch date on March 1st. That's true, because this came out in January 2023 and it was supposed to release on March 1st. It ended up just releasing, like I said, last week. But seeing this, when the developers have to come out and go, oh yeah, it's totally cool. Like things are seeming really weird, but it's totally not a scam. Trust us. When the directors of the game have to tell you that, that's real. I mean, I've never heard of a director of a game saying, Oh, okay. Yeah, we do it. And then, we never heard anything about this name dispute, by the way. And then the game ended up coming out as the day before anyway, right? So, again, this is a very, very strange kind of series of events. And then let's fast forward to November 2nd, where another IGN article came out the day before accused of copying other games again. And this is one of the things, like one of the first things that people noticed was that the day before the logo, the typeface, and even like the smearing of the font, which you probably see on the thumbnail for this video, that was all made to look like The Last of Us and invoke that idea of The Last of Us, right? Which I guess kind of makes sense in the survival zombie thing, but you can't just like do that and try and coast off of the success of The Last of Us, right? There were also calls that it looked a little too much like The Division, which it kind of did, but I was okay with that personally. Some people are mentioning that it looks like Call of Duty zombies, right? There's things where it was kind of compared to Red Dead 2 in terms of just how it's being marketed, using the phrase to make combat deep and engaging at all times. Each weapon has unique characteristics with realistic reload and recoil, which is something that was used basically by the day before, who said to ensure combat remains deep and engaging at all times. Each weapon boasts unique characteristics as well as realistic reload and recoil mechanics, right? So the day before added like a word to that that thing. It's almost like this game was like AI generated, right? It just went out, they just went out and literally ripped things from every other thing. It's wild to see all this. But I mean, we're going to be having some gameplay over this, and you can kind of see that none of this really came to fruition, right? Early on, the very cool like demo trailers that they showed for IGN, the game didn't end up looking anything like that. So the game finally came out. And by the way, there was a funny tweet. I'll see if I can find it. I wasn't sure because I heard about this, but there's supposedly like a funny tweet that the day before came out, the developers or someone like, the directors said, oh, hey, by the way, we're really close to releasing this. Don't call it a scam. Again, who says, oh, don't call our game a scam unless you're like a scam or you're just that inept, right? So it's just a weird thing, honestly, to see this kind of level of just like almost like gaslighting a community going, hey, we're not a scam or anything. Just because you think we're a scam, we're not a scam. We've worked hard. We worked long and hard on this game, right? So the game does come out last Thursday, and I believe that was December 7th. The game came out, immediately had server issues because it was very highly anticipated. So a lot of people wanted to check it out, and a lot of people at this point were sure it was a scam. Basically, for content creators, it became a, hey, we know this is a scam. We're going to make sure we get some content off of it because it's so bad, right? But the game came out, people couldn't get into it. The servers just crashed repeatedly. When people finally did get into it, they found out that it was completely barren. There was almost no zombies. There was nothing even MMO about it, right? It became this weird extraction shooter, third person kind of thing, which again is like the Division's Dark Zone, right? But with zombie. So basically they made the Division's Dark Zone, 5 years after the Division 2, and tried to sell that as an MMO survival shooter. I don't know about all that, but fantastic. Then 4 days later, this last Monday, came out and said, the financial failure of the day before has made it so that we have to close our studio. We're shutting down. We're delisting the game from sale, which it has been now delisted on Steam after becoming one of the 10 worst reviewed games on Steam of all time, and has now been delisted. So if you have it, you can still play it for as long as they pay that server bill, which I don't predict being further than this month. But if you have it now, you can still play it. Apparently it had something like a 46% return rate the first day on Steam, like a refund rate. Now, the day before, publisher Mytona, they're the ones who publish the game. They said they're going to open up refunds, and they're working with Steam to ensure that everyone who requests a refund will get one. This does not reflect well on Mytona, who's a publisher. If I'm a publisher, I'm checking in on this game and going, hey, what are you giving us? What are we putting out? Like, we're giving you money to make this, right? Because that's what a publisher does. They contribute. So what are we getting? And it's clear that they did not put any effort into checking up on this game or anything like that. They did apologize, though. They said, hey, we understand this is not what people are expecting. We're sorry. we're going to make sure refunds. That's like the least they could do, right? Is make sure that people get refunds. They basically ended up making no money. They said because the game failed, they're going to have to shut down after they had this big promise of things, right? But it goes even deeper than that because they talked about how they worked with this game or worked on this game for roughly 5 years. And it quickly came out that Fantastic very likely had only worked on this for maybe a year because people ended up saying, hey, like you used 98% of assets from the Unreal Engine store. And Fantastic says, no, we did not. This was all our work, right? But then there was a Reddit file that corrected this, and it has been community noted on Twitter. And it says, oh, actually, they they did use almost entirely flipped assets from the Unreal Engine store, and it ended up making up about 95% of the game, and it ended up costing them probably roughly $300 to buy all of the assets that they used for this game, or at least for a good majority of the map. And this is where the scam part comes in, because they talked about how they worked with this, but people are saying, hey, it looks like you're using like some assets that were made like within a year, like within the last year, as like foundational parts of the map. Which means either you ripped everything apart and then put it back together within the last year, or you really only started working on it within the last year after making all these promises, which is true, right? We know that the Anthem trailer, the trailer that made Anthem look so awesome back in the day, that was thrown together using CGI, and it looked like it could have been gameplay. We're wiser now, but you know, it looked like it could have been gameplay filmed with like special camera stuff going on. But this was clearly not, because, you know, like I said, we'll be showing gameplay over this. There is nothing here that says that this gameplay was worked on for any amount of time longer than like an alpha, like a super early pre-alpha. There's almost no polish. As far as I know, there's no melee, right? In a third-person like action game, you don't have a melee. Yeah, you can shoot. There's very basic animations, right? It's not like some games where, like, if you search a body, you see them pat them down or anything. They just kind of crouch and sit there and move around a little bit. It's all very basic. There's very basic lighting. There's, you know, it looks like a tech demo that maybe 5 people put together. It's really unfortunate because so many people wanted this to actually be good. And even I remember thinking, like, man, that looks really cool. If they deliver on it, that's going to be a rad game. And then as more stuff, you know, more of this, hey, our game's not a scam, we promise. Like, if anyone ever has to say that to you, by the way, it's a scam. If it is you know, some people say this is a scam, but it's not a scam. No, it's a scam. Or if someone running something that's kind of weird and they go, oh, hey, this is not a scam, by the way. I don't know. If you're a person who has to have people tell you, hey, this is not a scam, like, don't ever get to know anyone named Jimmy McGill or anything, right? This whole saga of the day before is actually unbelievable. And I hope that people can get their money back, right? If you paid for this game, please get your money back. These people do not deserve any money for this. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, people called Overwatch 2 a scam, but sheesh, I would take that over this all day, every day. Like, this is just bad. I mean, I thought when we got to Redfall in May, I was like, oh, we got the worst thing we're going to see this year. Then we had Gollum, and then we had King Kong, and now we have this. Like, those are the 4 horsemen of the gaming apocalypse this year, because, I mean, all of them basically outright, you know, scam. But this one actually is different in that they, you know, we heard about the Kong studio. They got like less than a year. It's like, okay, Gollum, like they didn't get any money or anything put towards it. Okay, Redfall's like the whole studio didn't want to make the game. Okay, this was like they were taking volunteers to do the work for them, not paying people, making big promises. And thankfully they didn't take pre-orders, because that would have been something else. Because I guarantee you a ton of more people would have pre-ordered this, and it would have been much, much worse on Steam and on Mytona. But what do you think about the day before? This is just a bad look overall for the gaming industry, and Fantastic. By the way, I mentioned before, Fantastic rebranded to a company called 8 Points. So if you see anything by 8 Points on Steam, I would highly recommend that you avoid interacting with it. Don't wishlist it. Don't buy it, because this company does not deserve a second chance Like, I'm all for people getting second chances. I was hoping Anthem would get a second chance. It's good to see No Man's Sky got a second chance, right? Hopefully, you know, maybe they could turn Starfield into something good. I don't know about Redfall. It'd be cool because I like Arcane, and man, if they could go in and get deep into the gameplay loops and stuff, that'd be cool. But this does not deserve a second chance. This was absolutely a scam to get people to buy into it and hopefully take the money and run. But what do you think? Were you interested in this? Did you find like this is, to me, this is sad and hilarious. Sad because people were excited about it and they didn't catch on after like the whole don't say it's a scam. We're not stealing from anybody or anything. You know, it is funny. It's just like, man, like these companies and these people just think they can get away with anything because they slap a video game cover over it. This was just a scam. This was just a way to get people to part with their money. So I hope that those brothers who are the directors of this, they don't get any more work because you don't deserve it after this. But what do you think? Let us know down in the comments, please. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit a like and subscribe if you want to see more from us. And leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy this video, and let us know what we can do in the comments to improve on further videos. But I do want to thank you so much for watching today. Again, I'm Bobby here with Direct Gaming, and I hope to see you soon.